Hello there, Michelle G here, Bendy, Stitchy. My pronouns are she, her, and today is Sunday. It's the 10th of August, Sunday the 10th of August, and we're here to talk about cross stitch and a little bit about knitting, and I'm here to thank you for participating in the auctions, if you did so. Oh, something was slipping and I could just hear it out of that. Anyway, if it's your first time here, welcome. If it's not your first time here, this is my protein coffee, and I'm coffeeed up. It's a little later than I usually film, so I'm well coffeeed up. So buckle up. I started working out 2 weeks ago. This is a me update. I started working out 2 weeks ago. I joined Burn Boot Camp. It's like an Orange Theory or one of those places. It's wild and I love it. There's so many things I like about it. I'm not recruiting. I haven't worked out in like 10 years, so it's tough. But they're very much like, here's the exercise, here's your modification, which I appreciate. And I feel myself like, even in just the 2 weeks that I've been going, I feel myself like, let me try that heavier weight for a few reps. Or like, let me get one more burpee than I thought I could get. The other nice thing is I go in, it's a 45-minute class. I completely turn my brain off. And I walk out 45 minutes later, tired and exercised and great. And then they have an app where you pre-schedule your classes. So if I commit to a 3:30 class, I will go to the 3:30 class because my anxiety will not let me cancel my class. So there's my anxiety working for me for the win. Anyway, so all that to say, I've gotten slightly less stitching done than I usually do in 2 weeks, only because I'm still trying to find my balance between Burn is between my work and my home. So it's like my work, 5 or 6 minutes to get to Burn, leave Burn, 4 or 5 minutes to get home. So it's nicely on the way from home from work, but an hour for Burn cuts an hour off my stitching time. And then I want to come home and spend time with Wade and Rosie. So for example, last 2-week Flosstube, I put in about 5,800 stitches. This 2-week Flosstube, 3,500 stitches and 6 stitching days. I just feel like that's still not right. It's fine. I think I stitched 8 days. I think I missed 6 stitching days, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, I'm still trying to find that balance. But I feel really good with going to Burn. Okay. So what did I work on? There's a couple things going on right now. Number one is I'm working on a round robin for my friend Heather. Number two, I started Pick a Whip for the month. Number 3, Arbitrary August, which I did not come up with Arbitrary August. Someone reached out to me and asked me the other day, do I know who came up with it? I can't remember. I've been doing Arbitrary August for so long. I can't remember who first came up with it, with the spinning of the wheel and everything. But I want to say that it was like 2018 or 2019 that it started. Because I remember doing Arbitrary August via spinning a wheel with a friend that I haven't talked to since 2020. And it's nothing like, we just kind of faded away. It's nothing like dramatic. There's no tea. But I don't know who started Arbitrary August. So if you know who started Arbitrary August, please drop it in the comments. I feel like it was probably one of the OG Flosstubers like Garrett Coffee Stitcher or Jessie Marie or somebody like that. I mostly blame them for everything that I do. So if you know who started Arbitrary August, let me know in the comment section. It doesn't really matter who started it. It's fun. And I'll explain that more in a little bit. So, in no particular order, because I don't know when I stitched on these things, except here they are in a stack next to me. My spin for Arbitrary August was Birdie, Vierlanda. And this is actually my tour, 2 years of tours bell pull. And right now I have not quite 1 year of tours, but it's neither here nor there. So 2 years of tours bell pull. This, when it's all done, this is on a piece of fabric from Kaylee Tent Stitch that's a yard long. It's a 40 count called 27.5 Shades of Gray. And it's a narrow yard, right? This is actually a quarter, but it's not a fat quarter. It's a long, skinny quarter. I don't know what it's actually called. Anyway, so you can see by the time it's done, I have now completed almost completed 2 tours. So this is Tour de France 2024, one complete version of Birdie Virland Sisters 1 from Stitchy Box. This is La Volta a España 2024, almost complete. You can see, or maybe you can't see, I just finished Matias Scalmosa's name down there at the bottom. Oh, there it is. Matias has to hit his ankles. So this is stitched in white because he won the white jersey for Best Young Rider. So I just have to fill in the points jersey winner, and La Vuelta is done for 2024. I had some idea that maybe I would stitch the Giro 2025 and get to LOTR 2025 during the tour, but you can see the tour has wrapped. My boy Tadej Pogacar won again, and I didn't get to it. So La Vuelta 2025 will be my last tour that fits on this piece of fabric. I have no illusions that I will get to this by the end of this month when I think La Vuelta starts. The La Vuelta starts this month. Christina's here live and she'll tell me when. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish, because you can see this is stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 10 stages of the Giro d'Italia to finish, and then I have to put Tadej Pogacar's name up here too because he won the Giro. So I'd like to finish the Giro 2024, and then I'll start on the Giro 2025. But I spun this for Arbitrary August, and let me tell you what that means. So, Arbitrary August, I have no idea who first started this, but I know I've been doing it for an age. Okay. La Volta starts August 26th. I will not finish the Giro 2024 and the Tour 2024 in the next 16 days. Could I? Will I? No, absolutely not. So, Arbitrary August is just what it sounds like. For the month of August, you stitch on things that are arbitrarily assigned to you. Now, how on earth is your cross stitch arbitrarily assigned to you? So for me, I fully believe that stitching Monopoly is an arbitrary whip pick because I roll a dice, I move around a board, and whatever square I land on, that's the whip I work on. So stitching Monopoly totally falls into Arbitrary August. The other way I get arbitrary is I use this app. It's called Tiny Decisions, right here. And I have a wheel. And this wheel has all of my whips. I have a few wheels in the Tiny Decisions app. Tiny Decisions app is only an iPhone app, but there are similar apps for Androids. So I'm going to hit record just so I have, and then we're going to spin for my next whip. And this is what I'll work on today. And this is what I mean, Arbitrary August. So I'm going to stitch on Twilight Moon. Perfect. Oh, I'm excited about that. So I'm going to stitch on Twilight Moon for Arbitrary August, and we'll see how far I get. And that's as complicated as it is. I mean, you could, if you don't have the Tiny Decisions app and you don't want one more app on your phone, which I totally get, you could just put it out into the world. What whip should I work on next? You could use random number generator. If you have a list of your whips, random number generator, Google it, put in your numbers, let it pick a whip. Tiny Decisions, I'm informed, is also on Android. So I think it's a super fun app. It's a free app and a paid app, so you can pay for new things, but I just use the free version and it works perfectly well. So that's Arbitrary August, and next I will be working on my Twilight Moon, which is by Tiny Modernist, and it is Tiny Modernist. It's Cheryl's pattern for the Threadworks Night Garden palette from X Stitch the Rainbow for this year, and I'm stitching mine on one whole big giant piece. So let me let's just give you a view of what mine used to look like so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is my Notion. This is where I keep all of my whips and all of my progress, and this is how I can tell you that I stitched 3,500 stitches this last. So Twilight Moon from Tiny Modernist. I'm stitching it on a piece with mine. So this is my piece for the X Stitch the Rainbow Night Garden palette. And this is my border, which absolutely eats thread, but it's whatever. And then here you can see I've started Twilight Moon. It's right there. And right there is my progress. I will link it down below at Abby TopKnot. She should definitely be your source for all things X Stitch the Rainbow. And that way you can, you know, if you want it, you bought it. So that was my first whip. And it was my Arbitrary August whip. My second whip that I want to show you is an oldie but a goodie. So for Pick a Whip this month, if you are not familiar with Marjorie Made Stitches, she is a floss tuber and stitcher. She does something every month called Pick a Whip, where she gives us 2 prompts, and you can stitch on both prompts or you can stitch on one prompt or the other. And I will talk about, in a few minutes, I will talk about my insane desire to finish both prompts every month and the mental gymnastics I got to do this month. But anyway, the 2 prompts this month are pick a project with a tomato and work on a neglected whip. So my neglected whip, and I'm so sorry, Dee and Kari, my neglected whip is Uncanny Kari and Dee's 20 Stitches Hex Hotel. I started this on September 13th, 2021. Picked it up for the second day on September 19th, 2021, and had not touched it since. Embarrassing. Embarrassing, especially because this is charted in DMC with some DMC Etoile. But I decided, because why not, to convert it into... This is Stitchy Box Bat Orchid, which is my favorite. If you need a black silk, Stitchy Box Bat Orchid, it's the one. This is Stitchy Box Electric Grape. This is her flower silk. Electric Grape. How do I have that in there? I have it like double tucked. Whatever. This is Almond M&M's Mint Magic. How great is that? And then this is DMC Glow in the Dark, which I will suffer through to make those little ghosties glow. Am I right? It's so cute. I just like this little ghosty here. I can't wait to stitch them. He just wants a friend. Anyway, so when I last worked on this, I'm going to show you. Here are my progress pictures. So when I started it, that was my start, right? Next day, oh, what happened? The last time I worked on this, it looked like this. That's embarrassing. That's 5 years ago, almost. 4 years ago, almost. It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Because I put one more day of work on this, and I got really far, and I'm stoked about it. Here's where I am now. Oh, and this is on a piece of 40 count Verdal from Jody of Steel City Stitchers. I don't remember if I was in, I think I might have been in her Fabric of the Month Club when she first started dyeing. Or I just bought a bunch of fabric. I'm not really sure which one. But I have a bunch of Jody 40 count Verdal, and I absolutely love it. So you can see I got quite a bit of progress here. And now I'm thinking, because I love color completing, can I stitch all the black first without getting bored? Look at my little ghosty. I was so close to this while I was stitching it that I couldn't tell that he was a little ghosty, but you can totally see him now. So the answer is yes, I can stitch all of the black. Almost, because that spider in the middle does have backstitch legs. So I can almost stitch all of the black. If I can stand it. Because it's not always super easy to color complete when there's so much of one color, but it would be very, very satisfying to put in all the black on that, right? So I love this piece. Yeah. And I'm really glad to have it back out. And because of Arbitrary August, it won't stay out, really. But it was really nice to put some stitches in that and remember how much I enjoyed stitching on it. Okay. So that, as far as I'm concerned, that is done for the neglected whip. And then I picked up this piece, which is, this is Butterfly Quaker. from Sticky Dean von der Weichenberg. And this is actually my friend Heather's whip. And it is a neglected whip because they said when they picked it back up, this is part of our August round robin. There's 4 of us who are sending around pieces. And actually, I haven't sent any pieces yet. It's a very rogue round robin. But it's my friend Heather, my friend Julia, my friend Deanna, and myself. And we're sending around our pieces. And I don't actually know like what's going to happen with us because Deanna and Julia are in Canada and Heather and I are here in the US with the tariffs and everything and the de minimis limit going away. If you're not familiar with the tariffs, I'm not that familiar with the tariffs, but what I do know is that at the end of this month, at the end of August, the de minimis limit is going away. And what that used to mean is shipments under $800 in value were not subject to tariffs. And that's going away now. So if I buy a and I think it was Fox and Rabbit that sent an email that really outlined it well. But it sounds like it's going to get really complicated for international shipping. So it sounds like if I buy a skein of floss for $3 from a Canadian dyer and I'm here in America, the tariffs on that skein of floss that the shipping companies have to charge me now could potentially be upwards of $80. So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go down. And I so feel for any floss dyer, fabric dyer, or designer or shop outside of America who ships into our country right now. I just really hope, I really hope that maybe the de minimis limit goes away so that the de minimis limit is back because it's just going to be a burden on tiny small businesses. Anyway, back to the whip. So this is Heather's whip and they hadn't worked on it when they started stitching on this to send it out for the round robin. They hadn't worked on it in 5 years. So I think this also qualifies as a neglected whip. So Heather stitched on this quarter over here. And the idea is there's these 4 butterflies around the center motif. And Heather asked that we all stitch 1 butterfly around the central motif and then go out as much as we want from the side. So I don't want to keep this forever because I was meant to send this off at the end of June quarterly, January, February, March, first quarter, April, May, June, second quarter. I didn't do it obviously. But I started with this butterfly and I was pulling, Heather sent us a bunch of floss and I was pulling from that floss. So I started with this butterfly and then I stitched this grasshopper, butterfly, leaf, my initials in the same color as my center butterfly because Heather did their initials in the same color as their center butterfly. And then this is from Heather's. So all of these flosses, pink, green, purple, and this one, were all from the flosses that Heather sent me. And then I chose this floss. And this is Aurora Borealis from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it's on the floss pack that I put together for my Stitch for Pride 2024. And then I thought, there are 12 gorgeous flosses in this floss pack for Stitch for Pride. So I used that one for my Stitch for Pride, this one, and I started this one, and I used this one and this one, all from Stitch for Pride. And so, no, I think this might not be. Yeah, this is from Stitch for Pride. So what I've done now is I've gone through my Stitch for Pride flosses from 2024, and I've mapped out this quarter of the design. Here's my flosses. And I've mapped out this quarter of the design so that it might feel like it flows. So it'll flow down from this purple to this darker blue, and it'll fill in with like greens and down here fading into reds and browns. So I'm really excited because I kind of have a plan for my motifs now, and I just have to get to stitching. And it's really lovely. This is stitched on a 28 count linen, and it's been 100 years. Well, not 100 years, but I forgot how much I really enjoy stitching 2/2 on 28 count linen. I just do. I just enjoy it. So I want to get more work done on that. So hopefully I can keep that in my rotation somehow, and still keep up with my best laid plans. And if I can't, then maybe when I send this on, because I already wrote the names of the flosses next to the motifs that I want to use it on, hopefully, maybe if I can't finish it myself, I'll just send all these with it. And so someone else can just be like, oh, look, Michelle did all the thinking for me and I don't have to think. Maybe that. Okay. Next whip. I worked on a lot of whips. Next whip, this one came up for stitching Monopoly, I think. Yeah, because there's this is 2020 Pandemic Sampler from Sarcy Girl. And I started this in 2020. And I keep meaning to finish it, but I don't know, someday I might. It's still attached to the Q-snap, which is why I'm struggling to hold it up. But you can see here it is in all its glory, kind of. And then I'll hold it up to show you what I did. So I think I had to put 600 stitches into this. Oh yeah, because I bought a property and I might have passed go in Monopoly. So I put in 600 stitches on this. More. I think I put almost 1,000 stitches in one day on this. And it was all in the flowers in the border. So this border is beautiful. It's like super regular, never deviates. Once you know the count, you can just and bust it out. But that is a lot of frickin' stitching. So one day of stitching, I put in all these flowers in the border. And then I started in on this blue here. So I love this. This is done on 40 count linen from Kitten Stitcher. I believe this one is called Shrinking Violet. It's in my Notion, but I'm not looking it up right now. I believe this one is called Shrinking Violet, and I'm using the Mrs. Sadis silk pack. So this is charted in DMC, and Mrs. Sadis, who's a silk dyer in Spain, she did a silk pack for it. I bought one and she sent me two and we auctioned off the second one. It was a long time ago, but it's all coming back to me. The colors aren't exactly spot on with the DMC, but I mean, look at it. It's beautiful, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you can see now I've turned the bottom corner on that. So I still have to, I'm just not taking it all the way off the Q-snap. I'm just not doing it. All I have left, quote, on the border is up that side and to turn the corner. So I do have this divided up into sections. Actually, I didn't divide it up. My friend, Deborah Carroll, divided it up. She finished hers. But she started this, like divide and conquer Sal. And part of the divide and conquer Sal is you divide your whip up and you conquer it, right? Like that's the idea. So for the 2020 Pandemic Sampler, she divided it into 8 sections. And her idea was I don't have a picture of it. Her idea was if you stitch on one section each month, then in 8 months you can finish it. I am way too chaotic of a stitcher to keep up with that. But the idea is very, very solid. And I love the idea of it. So, last whip for the month. And this also leads me into plans as well. I already kind of talked plans with Arbitrary August. Let me actually... What did I spin for Arbitrary August? That's why I took a picture of it. That's exactly why I took a picture of it. Oh, Twilight Moon. Perfect. I'm going to write that down. Almost forgot. Okay. My last stitching whip, I should say, for this week is my Retreat Spot Sampler. And this is also arbitrary because it came up for Monopoly. So I had to pay rent to my friend Trina for Monopoly. And the whip that I was using to pay rent was my Retreat Spot Sampler. This is stitched on a piece of 36 count test fabric from Cedar River Linen from fall of 2023. And if you haven't seen this project before, I hope you love it because I'm obsessed with this project. The idea behind this project is rather than stitching the whole design of the retreat pieces for the retreats that I go to, I have just been putting in a motif. So this is my Retreat Spot Sampler. And you can see, like, I have Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2020. There were 2 designs. This is from Heartstring Samplery, and this is from Plum Street, and I just squished them together. This is from Midwest Cross Stitch 2019. Fall Fling 2018 from Acorns and Threads. This is Spring Fling 2024 from Dee and Kari. Stitch North 23. This is a motif from Dee's project. This is Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2021. Acorns and Threads 25th anniversary in 2020 maybe. This is actually the piece that started it all right here. This whale is from Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit 2022. This is stitched on a piece of 40 count from Jody when she was just barely like first starting to experiment with dyeing fabrics. And this is a whale from Lindy Stitches. It was Lindy Stitches and Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower that year at Pacific Northwest. This whale has 1,200 stitches in it. And I didn't necessarily want to stitch the whole sampler, but I really wanted to stitch that whale. And then when I came up with this idea to keep doing the spot samplers, I basted this on the fabric. And then you can see I did it again here for Spring Fling 23 because this fabric and the floss were part of the kit. So then I have Flosstube at Sea, Midwest 2017, the Barefoot Needle Art Beach Retreat that was last October. So you can see they just keep going on and on. So my newest addition to this piece is right here. I'm a little behind for this year, but yesterday I put in my Flosstube at Sea 2025 piece. These are the 3 parrots from Jean's sampler, 3 parrots and a whale. I wanted to do the whale really badly, but that whale is a lot more stitches than the parrots. So I did the parrots. The parrots are a lot more color changes though. Jean kitted this all up for us in Cosmo. I am going to put this kit up for sale, not because I don't love it, but because I got my motif. So the kit you'll see, I don't know where I'll put it up for sale. Maybe I'll put it up on my Bendy Stitchy D-stash. So you get the pattern, you get the Cosmo flosses that are just a little bit used. You get a piece of Aida, or Aida, because it's Jean's. And then you get the floss bling. I don't know if I'm going to include the floss bling or if I'm going to keep that for myself. I don't need it though, right? You get the floss bling and the needle minder. So that'll be up on my for sale. But those are the 3 parrots. And then the words Flosstube at Sea 25, I stitched those from my sampler, from my piece, Sea Spell. So that's kind of the combination of the 2 of them. I'm quite behind for this year for my retreats. So let me show you. The next retreat that I need to add to this piece, this was the exclusive from Lola Crow. It's called Acorns and Friends. I think it's still exclusively available from Acorns and Threads, but this was our chart that we were gifted for the Acorn Gathering in January. So I think Acorn Gathering and the cruise happened at just about the same time. So I joined Acorn Gathering online so that I could get this. I've never missed an Acorn Gathering. And this was the first time I actually had to miss it because of the cruise. So I had to keep my streak alive and join it. My head says to put this little squirrel on because it's small, or to put these 2 crows standing on the words Acorn Gathering. But my heart says it's going to be the possum. So, and this, I just heard this will be released at Needlework Marketplace, which again is not getting the hype that it needs to get. If you all are not aware, Needlework Marketplace is a second trade show for the year. It's an online trade show. It happens not next weekend, but the weekend after next. And it's a 4-day online trade show. Shops have pre-orders. You got to check out TopKnot for theirs. So I'm going to put this possum for Acorn Gathering. And then I went to Stitch North. So for Stitch North, they had a lot of pre-order patterns. This is one that I want, and I'm finally going to do the border because I just love this border, right? Like, it's just beautiful. Like the way that Ellen designed this. This is from Maximum Cross Stitch, Ode to a Good Dog. I think it's called Ode to a Good Dog. An Ode to a Good Dog. I just love this border so much. And I might sneak the dog in too because it's an ode to a good dog. So for that one, I will try to put my little possum like right here maybe, because I think if I put my possum here, then I put my border here, then I'll be like, there's a lot more fabric here than you think because it's all rolled up. But if I put my possum here and my border right here, then that'll give me my edge of this piece, which will be so exciting to have an edge. Because I'm just going to keep adding until this fabric is full. It's going to be obnoxiously large. And my borders are going to be all different. So I'm going to take a border here, a border there. I did not sign up for Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit this year because it'll be the exact same time that I'm on the Alaskan cruise. But having a bit of a regret because the 2 designers for that are Avalee Folk Embroidery and the Artsy Housewife, and both of those designers do impeccable borders. So I know that I would get good borders for my piece, but I didn't sign up. And then the last thing I have to do, the last retreat that I've been to so far this year was the Stitch and Stash retreat in Edmonton in June. If you've never been to the Stitch and Stash retreat, it's like 100 and something people in Edmonton, Alberta in June. It's like the same weekend in June every year. It's the 10th into the 20s. It was so good. It's a 4-day retreat, which felt super long, which was nice. And Jean and Kelly are the women who run it, and they were great. There were also 4 women that stitched a name tag for each and every person at the retreat this year, plus extras. So there were like 5 Michelles at the retreat, and one Michelle got a name tag with no E on the end. So I kept trading name tags with the other Michelles. If I met up with a Michelle and they wanted my name tag, I gave them my name tag and I took theirs. It's not a big deal. But the one Michelle was a little bit upset that her Michelle didn't have an E on the end, but she didn't say anything. So I traded with her. And then I went and thanked the ladies who stitched them. And they were like, do you not have an E on the end of Michelle? And I was like, no, I just, it fell off, but I have an idea for it. They stitched me another name tag. They had extras and they put my name on another one. But my idea for it was this. Because I like to use this blue floss that I got from Nati. I like to use that to help tack down. I'll do a blanket stitch to tack down the thingies, but I also like to stitch over it. I'm going to put this here, or wherever I decide to put it. I'll put this here. Hold on. Good Lord. It's a lot harder than you think it is to hold things and talk. So I'll put this here, right? And then part of tacking this down will be the E on the end of Michelle. And then probably down in this corner, to help tack it on, I will put a flamingo. This is Cheryl Tiny Modernist's pattern from the retreat. So I'll either put one of these flamingos or I'll stitch this little row of beach huts. It might be cute to stitch that little row of beach huts across the bottom of this to hold that down. That might be really cute. So, and then that would fit with my other basted on. That would keep that theme going, I could also put it over here, I guess. I could put it over here and make my edge with it. That might be cool. We'll see. I'll play with some placements on that. But so I also want to keep stitching on this because then I have my Flosstube cruise to Alaska coming up here in less than a month. I will be cruising in Alaska. So September 5th through the 15th, I will be on an Alaska cruise. I don't know how many more times I can say that. I'm very excited. I've never been to Alaska. I've never seen a glacier. I've never seen a orca. And I hope I see both. But I know Jean has a design, and I know Bren and Karen from Fox and Rabbit have a design, and they will all be there. And so I'll need more things to add on to my retreat spot sampler. I don't know how much actual stitching I'm going to be able to do on the Alaska cruise, because it's not like Flosstube at Sea where people are just stitching all the time. It's one of Jean Farish Stitcher's Escape's other kind of cruises. I've never been on one of these kind before, but I'm going as a helper, so I will be working. And I'm so excited. It's just, anyway, I'm excited. So that's all my stitching and my stitching plans. I did do some knitting. Woof. You would think I could move my chair, but I'm not. I was too far into it. So this is my Dakir shawl. And I did knit on this for, I think, 2 days while Rosie was at basketball. This is a big shawl. I will not be unwinding it today. But when she's finished, she will be 72 inches long, which is 6 feet. And I am on my second to last section. And I'm going to unwind it a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. This design is by Corinne Havari of Havari Bazaar Yarn Co. And the yarns are from, I do have one more plant to talk about. The yarns are from 5 different female Muslim dyers, and I got it in a Ramadan tiny presents box. So what I'm excited about is this right here that you can see is the last row of lateral braid for this whole damn thing. Lateral braid is a great stitch, but it takes me, this shawl is 198 knits across, and it takes me probably 4 hours to put in a row of lateral braid. I'm slow at lateral braid. I did get better this time, but I'm on this lace row right now, and you can see it's absolutely beautiful. And these lace rows are getting easier and easier for me. I don't think I'm paying more attention. I think they're just getting easier. And you can see the last time I showed it, I was only halfway through this. Something happens to my counting on these lateral braid rows too. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm hoping it all blacks out. Right? I'm hoping it all blacks out. All right. So I'm just moving my stitch counter up. So I'm excited about this. And this is I'm sitting at a Rosie sporting event whip because it's a lot easier to travel with knitting than it is to travel, for me, it's a lot easier to travel with knitting than it is to travel with stitching, especially to like basketball and stuff. It's just less stuff around me that I have to like wrangle. So that's it for my whips and almost for my plans. So for my plans, we heard about Arbitrary August. I'll be stitching on Twilight Moon. The Retreat Spot Sampler, I still want to put in those motifs from the other thingy things. There's also, I have an ATC to stitch, which is an artist trading card. If you're not familiar, there's a couple of good Instagrams that you can hit up. One of them is called Cross Stitch ATCs. This isn't the one that I used to, participate in this. I think it's been a while. It's been 261 weeks. But you can see, like, so an ATC is an artist trading card. It's the size of a playing card or a baseball card, and you put art on it. Sorry about that one. But each month for cross stitch ATCs, we had themes and like food and Halloween, and this one was a black work theme. That was an interesting month. Oh, this is cut work. Look at that. What is your community famous for / Stitcher's Choice? Look at that cut work ATC. Holy crap, the amount of work that went into that. Also beautiful cottage garden thread. But you can see it's just like a fun, cute little thing. And some people put strictly the cross stitch onto the ATC, which is it's great. I love it. And some people put like, they make it a truly like what do you call it? Multimedia, which is my favorite personally, but just really cute. So cross stitch ATCs will give you a good idea of what ATCs look like. But if you follow my friend Heather, Stitchy Swap and ATC, Heather is running all kinds of swaps and ATC swaps. So the ATC swaps are every other month, and this month's theme is summer. So I actually think my partner really likes Tiny Modernist, and I actually think I might put some Tiny Modernist on here. Like, how cute would this be to mix up in an ATC? Like, I put the row of houses at the bottom, and then I put like this in the middle, and then the wave somewhere, right? Like you could condense this, and depending on what size of fabric you use, like if you're an over one stitcher, you could probably put this whole damn thing on an ATC. It's 59 by 89. So yeah, if you're an over one stitcher and you choose the right size fabric, but even at 59 by 89, if you put it on 40 count, that's, it's still a little too big. 3 inches by 5 inches by 4.5 inches. So anyway, taking spots of that would totally work. So this will probably be my summer ATC project. They're about this size, actually. They're just so cute and fun. I have a bunch of them over there, but I'm not going to take them down. So that's one plan. And then my other plan is, do you remember this project with a tomato? So I don't have any projects with tomatoes. I was racking my brain thinking like, okay, we got this, a Stitcher's Garden. We got this pattern at Stitch North, and there's a tomato on here, right? Like a tomato pincushion. So I could put that tomato pincushion on my spot sampler, Retreat Spot Sampler, and call that my Stitch North part. I still might do that because I do, but what I really want to stitch out of this Stitcher's Garden is this here. I love this. Anyway, then I thought, somebody said, because so one thing I love about Jessie Marie is how she will make up this elaborate, wild story about making a whip fit into a prompt, right? So someone, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I film these Flosstubes live with my patrons. My patrons at a certain tier are here with me live while we're filming this. And one of my patrons said, let's make up the wildest, like, wildest possible like flow story behind your whip. So the whip that I'm going to use for this is Namarie Tapestry. Let me pull it up so you can see it. Namarie Tapestry from Modern Folk Embroidery. So this is what mine looks like right now. And this is a piece based on Lord of the Rings. And I will tell you that tomatoes are a member of the nightshade family. Let me see if I can do this without looking at it. Tomatoes are a member of the nightshade family. Potatoes are a member of the nightshade family. Namarie is based on Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings is based on potatoes. Because Samwise Gamgee, right? So, because tomatoes equals nightshade equals potatoes, and because Namarie equals Lord of the Rings equals potatoes, therefore, tomatoes equal Namarie. It's just math. So Namarie will be my project for the tomatoes. I love it. I mean, I think it's brilliant. Megan, oh, Captain My Captain was the one who came up with that. So I think it's genius, and I can't wait to stitch on Namarie for the prompt of tomatoes. And I feel like that also complies with Arbitrary August, because it's very arbitrarily... that is a very arbitrary... It's actually not arbitrary at all. It's math. It's science. It's a hard science. Is math a science? I think... Or is math math? Whatever. It's gonna work. It's 100% gonna work. Also, it was just pointed out to me that Canada A needle minder is the color of a tomato. So, delicious. Perfect. Okay, so that's a bit of a peek into my brain. That's how I like things to work. As far as I talked about last week, I talked about auctions, and I put up 5 auctions on my Patreon, not behind the paywall. But if you go to my Patreon page, there is a paywall, so a lot of this stuff is behind it, but some of it isn't, right? There's a section for public gift charts, and there's also a section for charity auctions. So this past fortnight, these 5 items were up for auction. I had a mini kit, 13 mini skeins of yarn plus 1 big skein of yarn from Yarnaceous. A full kit for Agnes Cairns, which Julie, my friend, Agnes Cairns 1815 is a design from my friend Julie at Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, also Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. And I had kitted it up in silks and cottons prior to getting the Evertote conversion, Roxy Flosco. So I auctioned off my full kit, and Julie very kindly has decided to throw in the PDF. I was going to buy it, but she threw it in. And then my Sea Spell, my last kit of Sea Spell, was up for auction. This beautiful bag that Jen at Jasmine's Custom Bags made out of my stitched piece from the Evertote Roxy Flosco 2023 Christmas sampler, and this beautiful flower table runner that I won at Stitch and Stash Retreat. All 5 of those auctions combined raised $395 for Rex. He's a little guy that is the brother of one of Rosie's volleyball teammates. And he was diagnosed just a few weeks ago now, maybe a month ago, not even, with retinoblastoma. It was in both of his eyes. I can tell you that his right eye was much smaller, the retinoblastoma, and the doctors were able to freeze it out. The left eye, he will need chemo for that, but they're hoping that between the chemo and the cryo treatments, they're hoping that they're projecting a full recovery for Rex. So the reason we needed to raise money for him is because they live here near us, a little bit south of us actually, and Rex has to go all the way up to Portland for his treatment. So that's a huge financial burden on the family because they can't, it's It's like 3 hours up and back, 3 hours one way. So they're not driving up and back every day. When he's having treatment, they're having to stay up in Portland. So $395, hopefully, is what the community did. I will post, his mom's called Anna, and I will post her Venmo and her, I think it's her Apple Cash down below. If you want to just throw a little money their way for Rex, that would be great. He's the most gregarious little guy you've ever seen in your life. He's just so sweet. He loves Rose's volleyball coach. Rex is totally obsessed with Rose's volleyball coach. Like, the man can't walk by Rex without Rex just, whatever he's doing, he just stops and watch Coach walk by. So thank you to everybody who bid on those, and I will get those in the mail this coming week. But I just so appreciate the donations to Rex and Anna. They're good people. And then one piece of haul, it wasn't even a haul, it was a gift from one of my nurses. He's one of my new nurses, and he got me this. This is a plant family crochet kit. He came up to me and he was like, I heard you were crafty, and I thought it was crochet, but then I see now that it's cross stitch, so I don't know if this is really good or not. And I was like, it was only a matter of time until I became also a crocheter, right? Because I cross stitch and I knit. It just makes sense. So this is the cutest. This is one of those little amigurumi kits. It's super cute. I'm super excited about having a new craft. Wade is not not that excited for me to have a new craft. But this yarn is very like round. So it's super cool. We got a little pink and a little red, probably for faces. 2 big green ones, probably for the cactus itself. A big white one, I'm guessing for the, and a biggish gold one. And then the stuffing. I was wondering how they got the stuffing in there. It's vacuum sealed. And then I do not know what these are for, but probably for shaping somehow. Little bit of black. Lots of eyeballs and stitch markers and a needle, a darning needle. I'm guessing that's for weaving my ends. 2 crochet hooks. They're both 0.3. And then instructions. So it looks, oh dear God, really? I'm gonna make that? Where's the beginner one? So I'm excited, actually. So it's like step by step how to crochet. Crochet through both loops, crochet through front loop only, crochet through back loop only, how to make a slip knot to start your crochet, how to crochet a chain stitch, how to slip stitch, how to single crochet, like how to make a magic ring. We're doing this. Because look at that little thing's face. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. So it has instructions for, oh, what should I do if I find a knot in my yarn? Perfect. It has instructions for this little guy. Plant pot. It has instructions for this little guy right here. Cute. And for this little cactus. And I think that's the pot for the cactus. Right there. Adorable. Yep, look. Right there. And you put a little flower. And then this little one. Is there enough yarn for all of this? I mean, I guess maybe it doesn't take that much yarn. And then this. Holy crap, really? That looks more complicated. And then this looks more complicated too. So I guess maybe you start at the front. But here we go. I'm gonna crochet. So I'm excited. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. And if you are a crocheter and you have, like, I love Casa Pinka, I think she's called, for, oh man, I'm not going to be able to get all this yarn back in there. I don't know how they did this. I love Casa Pinka for yarn tutorials. Let me know who you like for crochet tutorials. If you have a favorite person, I would love to check out your favorite tutorial person, because I love a tutorial. I never, like, I never, only on the very last row of my lateral braid did I start a lateral braid row without watching the tutorial. So I'm excited about this. I want those little things sitting on my desk. I thought it was so sweet of my nurse. So that was really nice. I do have 3 books to talk about and a tarot card. So I'm going to pause. If you were only here for the cross stitch, thank you for being here. And it's cross stitch. And the cross stitch is done. If you're only here for the cross stitch, I will see you in 2 weeks. Despite the fact that Needlework Marketplace will be going on, I will still be filming a Flosstube. Because I gotta, right? So hopefully I'll see you in 2 weeks and my ATC will be done. And my Twilight Moon for Arbitrary August will be stitched on. And my Namarie for Pick a Whip will be stitched on. And I'll be working into my retreat spot sampler or whatever else Arbitrary August has brought my way. So I appreciate you so much for being here. If you're not here for the tarot and the books, I'm starting to shuffle my tarot cards. So that's your cue, and I will see you in 2 weeks. And if you are sticking around, then I will be right back. Hey y'all, thanks for coming back. This is the tarot and books portion, and I was just shuffling this is my Prisma Visions deck. I just watched a really interesting thing. So this is by James R. Eads, is the designer of this deck. I just watched a really interesting Instagram story from him about pirated decks. So a lot of tarot card decks are hitting Temu and all those shitty sites. Even Amazon will have them for like $1.25. If you see a tarot deck for $1.25, it's fake, right? It's a ripoff. If you see a tarot deck on Temu, what you should probably do is hit that little X in the upper right-hand corner and stop shopping on Temu. For real. Just stop. Anyway, he did a really good in-depth, like all flippancy aside, he did a really good in-depth analysis of how do you because sometimes it's hard to tell from online pictures, and we've all been taken in by AI stuff and ripped off stuff, and it happens to everyone, right? Everyone has accidentally bought a cross-stitch pattern that someone ripped off and sold as their own because they were like, wow, what a good deal. And you make the mistake, and then you learn, and then you don't do it again. And it's okay. Nobody goes to hell for their first mistake. Depends on who you ask. But I don't think anybody goes to hell for their first mistake. But one thing that James R. Eads was saying is look at the boxes. So like a lot of really nice tarot decks come in these cool, super cool boxes. Some of my really nice tarot decks just come in regular boxes, but a lot of them have really nice boxes. So the box is one way to tell. And then the edging, a lot of them have like holograph edging, which is a little harder to tell in photos. But anyway, I've been pulling from this is my original deck, my Prisma Visions deck. Holly gifted this to me. Holly Stitchy Pros gifted this to me at Market. And this is always my comfort deck and my go-to deck. I want to he has, James R. Eads now has like a lenticular tarot deck, where like when you move the card, it shows different pictures, and it's a lenticular tarot / oracle. I really want it. But Rosie's getting braces. So Mama's got to eat ramens and not buy tarot decks. But no, really. I could buy it if I wanted to, but I'm being fiscally responsible right now. Anyway, so I was shuffling, and this one popped up. This is the star. I love this. I love the art on this deck. I am in no way sponsored by James R. Eads or Prisma Visions Tarot, but if you wanted to, James, I'd be happy to rep you. Just kidding. Not kidding, but I know that'll never happen. So this is the star. And what I love about this deck is it's Raider White based, but a lot of the designs really take they have a different vibe. And I love the book. So this says, after the cataclysmic fall of the tower, a woman is cast into the air. At the apex of her ascent, she sees the whole world around her, stars singing their high, clear aria. The sleigh bell descant fills her with hope, and in the midst of stark calamity, she is at peace. Lily tendrils entwine around her, linking her to a brilliant light. So you can see, she's been tossed up in the air, and she's just at that free fall moment at the top, and everything is beautiful. And so the explanation is the star is a beacon of hope. Though the night is dark and arduous, across the sky are smattered reminders that suns blaze perpetually, even if our own is hidden from sight. Believe the sun will rise, not as an empty sentiment, but as an immutable law of nature. For now, let the subtle radiance light your way, splayed galaxies working in concert to guide you home. It's also just beautiful. This deck is just beautiful. So, 12 out of 10. I love drawing the star from this deck. Also, the sun in this deck is not a naked baby riding a horse, and you know that is my least favorite card in any deck. If the deck has a naked baby riding a horse, I'm getting selective enough with my decks that I don't do naked babies riding horses anymore. So that's my tarot card for the day and my anti-Temu speech. Okay, 3 books. I finished 3 books. The first one I finished was called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, PhD. I've talked about this book multiple times. It took me 2 or 3 checkouts from my Libby app to finish it because I listened to it. So good. So good. 12 out of 10. I really enjoyed the studies that he cited. I really enjoyed the science-basedness of it all. I have done a lot to clean up my sleep hygiene. I've always been a good sleeper, so like I can fall asleep, my head hits the pillow and I'm like, right? Wade hates that because he's not that way. Rosie is, thank goodness. But there's a lot of really interesting things in this book. So a couple of my key takeaways from this book. There is one study that he talked about, Matthew Walker, and it was about learning and sleep. So sleeping on it will cement your learning. And staying up and doing an all-nighter will actually be counterproductive. It deprives you of the sleep you need to make those memories. And what I took from that is, while I'm studying things, while I'm learning things at work, if I sleep on them, it will be better. The other thing that study showed is that it's not just for mental stuff, not just like learning math and science, but like if Rosie goes to a camp or has a tough practice and learns a lot of new stuff, the best bet for her to remember and ingrain those things is to sleep on it and to sleep well on it. The other thing that I thought was really important that is a key takeaway for me from this book is that last 2 hours of the night, that's the sleep that we adults tend to shave the most, right? Like, I know I should go to bed at 8 because I get up at 4, but this show is really good and I just want to push through and watch it, so I'll just sleep a little less in the morning. But it's not like if you give yourself 6 hours to sleep instead of 8 hours to sleep, say this is the morning because that's the way y'all are looking at it. This is the morning. If you cut off 2 hours at night, you're not like shifting your sleep so that you still get your good REM sleep in the morning. If you cut off 2 hours at night, what you think you're doing is cutting off the first 2 hours of sleep, but what you're actually doing is cutting off the last 2 hours of sleep, which is that all-important REM sleep. So you're not shifting your sleep so that you just start deeper into your sleep cycle. You're actually cutting off the morning sleep. And that REM sleep is hugely important to your health, mentally and physically. So I try not to do that anymore. I'm missing out on so many good shows now because Wade and I like to binge watch TV at night, and it took me forever to finish Love Island UK. 12 out of 10 worth it. Because I am trying to practice better sleep hygiene. And you can't always, right? Like this week I have to go to a mock event at Autzen Stadium where the Ducks play so that I can learn how to serve beer so that I can make money for Rosie's volleyball tuition. That is a known thing. The other thing I learned about this book that really sucks is there's no such thing as catching up on sleep. So if you slept 4 hours last night, you can't just sleep 10 hours tonight and catch up on your sleep. That sleep is gone. You're never getting it back. And that sucks. I'm not saying that this is the sleep Bible, but I'm saying that there are really important things in this that you can take and help improve your sleep. I liked it. The other book I finally finished, Trail of the Lost. This is by Andrea Lankford. The subtitle is The Relentless Search to Bring Home the Missing Hikers of the Pacific Crest Trail. So it's not a spoiler because she says it right on the book. She didn't find any of the hikers she was looking for on the PCT. But Andrea Lankford is actually a nurse who used to work for the Park Service in their search and rescue. She calls them SARS, search and rescue. And And it was super interesting. She focused on the story of 3 hikers lost on the PCT in 2016 and 2017, and kind of how she built a team around her. She's related to none of these people, but how she kind of built a team around her to help find these young men. Never found any of them. Did find other people that she wasn't looking for, but never found any of these young men. But it was just a really, like, this was a really good, interesting, like, something I had never thought of. And she talked about how, like, tips would, it was all kind of run through Facebook pages, and tips would come into the Facebook pages. And then she had a team that would kind of vet the tips. And then the third level was to take a whole bunch of volunteers out to the area if the tip was deemed, like, important or good or a strong enough lead. They would take a whole bunch of volunteers out to the area and search that part of the Pacific Crest Trail. If you don't know, the Pacific Crest Trail is like 6,000 miles. It goes all the way from Mexico to Canada up the Pacific coast. So it's not right on the coast, but it's mostly in the mountains up from Mexico to Canada. Or most people hike south to north. Some people hike north to south. But it was really good. And the way that I found this book was actually through an Instagram that I was introduced to. This is called Morbidly Curious Book Club. And each month they have a book, obviously. And you can actually sign up, the Morbidly Curious Book Club, and they'll send you the book every month. I haven't taken that step yet because I really do like audiobooks. But there's a cool post on their page. Someone at a Barnes & Noble in Greensboro put all of the books so far this month on display. Or all of the books so far this year. So I read Trail of the Lost, or listened to it. I'm currently listening to Briefly Perfectly Human. And just because these two are so good so far, I would probably read any of these. But that brings me to my book that I'm currently reading. It's called Briefly Perfectly Human, Making an Authentic Life by Getting Real About the End. It's by Alua Arthur, and Alua is a death doula. And I was interested in this book immediately because I was a hospice nurse for quite a bit of time during my career. And I distinctly remember that my hospice social workers had some kind of tension with death doulas. And I didn't pay a lot of attention to it at the time. It didn't affect me. I wasn't worried about it. In my mind, anyone who's helping a patient and family in their last days is on our team, right? If you want to have hospice and a death doula, I feel like that's having an OB and a doula, right? How is that bad? So I'm still interested in hearing about, like, I'm listening to the book trying to figure out why my hospice social workers would have had a problem with the death doulas. And maybe it was just a couple of them. I don't know. They didn't all talk about it, but there were a couple at the hospice agency that I worked with here in Eugene that really had a problem with death doulas. But so Alua Arthur, where I am so far in the book, is she's one of 4 kids of a family, and her parents are Ghanaian. She's Ghanaian too. But they had to flee Ghana when she was 4. So I've heard about her young life, the flight from Ghana because of the coup that happened there, and her dad was part of the government. So he miraculously was not killed after the coup, which usually when there's a coup, either the side trying to take over fails and they're all killed, or if they succeed, then the current government that they took over is usually put to death. So he was part of the current government that was successfully overthrown. He was miraculously not put to death. Maybe not miraculously, but he survived, was let live, and the family escaped to America. And then they traveled all over the world. She had very itchy feet, was never like really content with anything, became an international human rights lawyer, didn't love what she was doing, didn't feel like it was her calling. And then her sister's husband, so her brother-in-law, with whom she was very close, he gets cancer. And this book is not, I really want to recommend this book to my aunt, but I think maybe not yet. This book is for people who either don't know loss and want to understand it better, or who know loss and are ready to hear a lot about it. Because even me, like, hearing about her brother-in-law's passing The way she wrote about it was so raw and so real, and I appreciated it so much. And I cried on the way to work yesterday, listening to her recount her brother-in-law's death. So if you are not in that place, if you've recently suffered a loss or not so recently, and you're not in that place yet, be very careful with this book, because I'm only about 20% in, and I know it's going to be triggering to a lot of people, but I also think it's going to be very healing to a lot of people. So when I finish this book, I will probably make the recommendation to my aunt, but I think it's still a little soon for her, but she's definitely on my heart while I'm reading this. So, yeah, just really, so far, really great book. I also personally think that anything that makes our society think about and engage with death on a more open and honest and loving level is going to be good for our society, because we suck at death. We're really bad. Americans don't do death well. And I don't mean, like, when I was in Hawaii and I was working with hospice, we did death well because the cultures that we worked with did death well, right? Hawaiian families tend to do death well. People of Asian and Pacific Islander descent have a much different relationship with death than Howleys do. We hide it and deny it and try to fix it. And for a lot of cultures around the world, it's part of their life, just like birth is. And that's a much healthier way to handle it. So I'm hoping that this book gets to the place where I'm like, yeah, let's recommend it to everybody, right? I would like to hand copies of this book out. If you couldn't tell, I feel very strongly about the fact that we need to deal with death better. But I'm really excited about that book, and I'm listening to it right now. And I'm also really excited about Morbidly Curious Book Club on Instagram. I'm not gonna join the club, and then I'm not gonna have them ship me the books, but I am definitely in the club. So, I think that was a long one today. That's me for the day. You know, I started out this video with my patrons. I started out saying, I really didn't do much. I barely have anything to talk about. But I mean, if you're not new here and you've hung on to this point, you know that's how we do. That's how we do. So, all right, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to try to get outside before it hits 100 degrees. I don't think it's supposed to be 100, but it'll be like 80, it'll be like 90 something today, which like, but yeah, I will see you in 2 weeks. Please keep an eye on TopKnot Stitcher. I will link her site below for all of the newest marketplace releases. There's some really good ones. Wait, if you've hung out this long, let me just show you my marketplace release. Not mine. Let me show you the one that I think I'm going to buy. Oh, dear God. I hate Cheryl. I love Cheryl. Tiny Modernist. I open up Abby TopKnot's page, and this is what assaults me immediately. Cheryl. How am I supposed to get my life under control if Cheryl keeps putting out things that I have to stitch? Anyway, there's so many good marketplace releases. This is great from the Snowflower Diaries. I hadn't seen that yet. Abby busts her... Look at this little... I saw a ghost. He saw me too. I waved at him, but he said boo. That little thing looks exactly like it's going to say that. Abby busts her bum to get all of the Needlework Marketplace releases up on her site. And there is one. I'm trying to limit myself to one. Look at these new fabrics from Bestitch Me. God, look at... here's that Acorns and Friends from Lola Crow that's up for pre-order. This is the Bestitch Me Silk Pack for Mycelium Metro, and I feel like this design, Mycelium Metro, is a very overlooked design this year. I don't think it's going to be my one. Oh my God, look at this. Beneath Moonlit Wings. Damn, Holly. We have some really great designers in our community, y'all. Let me find it. This is important enough to keep waffling like this. And then there's some designers that I really wish I could stitch because I really like their designs, but I really don't like their politics. And I won't. New colors from Dinky Dyes. I'm excited about those. Where is it? I know Abby has it. We're just taking a little promenade through the designs till I can find the one that I absolutely must have. Because it's stunning. I think it's a sprouting lupine. And it's absolutely incredible. This is terrifying. The fact that Janine McGowan took these little machine gun beak birds and made it into a Halloween pattern, I love that. This is so good. Yasmin's Made with Love, the Forest Guardian. Love that. Oh, I haven't seen this one yet. M is for Mushroom from Yasmin's Made with Love. So good. This one, Aviary from Jed X Stitch. Ooh, Persephone's Garden. Maybe I'll get that because it's this one. Oh, this is the one I was talking about. Sprouting Lupine. Mycelium Metro. So good. And then a Be Stitch Me Floss Pack. But I think this is the one. Garden of Shadows. I think this is my one purchase from this year's Needlework Marketplace. I don't know. I think it's so good. And I think I have the fabric for it. This might be my piece. So if you made it this far, let me know down below. This is crazy. Are you ready for this? If you've made it this far, let me know down below. What is your piece from Abby TopKnot? Go to Abby TopKnot's Needlework Marketplace pre-order. Let me know what is your pre-order. Put the link in there to your pre-order. Everyone who puts the link, I will add you to a spreadsheet. 2 weeks from now, we'll choose the winner, and I will pre-order mine and yours. 2 weeks from now it's not a pre-order anymore. 2 weeks from now, I will choose a winner on my Flosstube, and I will order this for me and yours for you. So enter, that's the giveaway. If you made it, you had to make it till the bitter end for the giveaway. But drop the link for Abby. I'll add you to a spreadsheet of my own. We'll do a random number generator, and in 2 weeks I will holler at you and let you know I bought you your marketplace thing. So then I guess you have to just put one in that you're not gonna buy, and you have to wait because if I might buy it for you. Don't buy it because I don't want to hear, oops, I already bought it. Buy me something different. Link something that you need but you're not gonna buy, and I'll get it for you. I love that. Okay, I better put that in my giveaway spot so I remember. And if it's the sprouting lupine one, I will fully buy 2 and we will sell it. I will start it with you, I promise, even though I always say I'll start it with you and I never do. So, okay, that's it. That's the giveaway. If you made it this far, your chances are pretty good because I don't think that many people made it this far. I'll see you in 2 weeks and we'll talk about all the goodness. All right, everybody take care.